This is Mary Nasi with IMT Realty. Today I am meeting with Jessica Patterson from GROTON Community. No, you are the coordinator for
Yes.
GROTON Community Parks and Rec.
So close.
Okay.
So, GROTON Parks and Recreation.
Yeah.
We're a division of the town of Groton. And I am the community outreach coordinator for Parks and Recreation, but really for the town. It's an awesome job, and I totally lucked out with an amazing opportunity. Thank you so much for letting me be here today.
No, it's our pleasure. So I just wanted to kind of do a series on GROTON in and of itself because GROTON's so huge.
Yeah.
So I thought today we could just talk about the different things that attractions and stuff that goes on in GROTON, and then we'll do some future videos on the different neighborhoods and what's eccentric to each of those.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I love Groton. Let me just start off by saying that. So a lot of the great things that have to do with Groton, at least kind of from the Parks and Recreation perspective, are what can we do outside? What can we do with our family, with our friends? How do we meet people and kind of get ourselves out of the situation of just going home after work and then that's it, right? Especially as we get older, big question comes up a lot, like through networking and just kind of being out in the community is, how do you meet people? And the answer to that, what we've been finding a lot, are groups and scheduled activities and meetups and kind of pickup games. So we really try to do our best to cover the entire gamut. So whether it's infants and toddlers looking for early education and early activity programming, all the way up to the Groton Senior Center, which all of our programming is available, obviously, for Groton residents, but we don't exclude people outside of the greater Groton area. So when you come to a program or you go down to Pequannock Plains Park for a pickup soccer game, or you go to the Senior Center or head over to Shinnecock Golf Course, you're going to meet people, probably your neighbors or somebody on your street, but you're also going to meet somebody from the greater community, which is great because about 40% of our workforce actually lives in Groton. Everybody else lives outside of Groton. So it's a great way to not only meet the people that you're around where you live, but also people that you might be working with, especially if you're working with one of the bigger employers. So we do a lot with Electric Boat and with Pfizer and with the hospital systems. And one of the big questions that they bring up a lot is they're hearing from their employees, well, what do you do in Groton? To which I always raise my hand and go, I got a list, do you got time? So the big thing is, what do you want to do? Like, what are you interested in? And that's what I ask everybody all the time. What do you want to try out? Like, do you want to try an adult pickup softball league or a kickball league? Are you looking to make friends? Are you looking to network? Are you looking to get your kids into an activity? Or do you want to come to a free concert that we have down at the beach? Or have you heard of Shinnecock Golf Course? Hashtag ShennyGolf. So we have kind of a hidden gem here in Groton. It's not hidden to the golfers, like the really big golfers in the golf world, but to a lot of people locally, and I mean like regionally, New England wise. So Groton is very lucky that we have one of the only municipal golf course in not only the state, but in the New England region that's open year round. And it was actually designed by Donald Ross, who is a championship golf course designer. So it's been in existence since the late 1800s. It's been a public golf course since then. We have men's league, we have women's league, we have the EB and Pfizer athletic clubs. So it's really become like a hub, especially from late spring to really late fall, early winter, of if you want to meet somebody at kind of that higher tier positioning within like your business, chances are you can probably find them at Shenny. Mm-hmm. So I always say to any of like the young millennials when I'm going in and I'm meeting with people or we're doing a, what's to happen in Groton, I say, if you want to meet your boss's boss, get a Shinnecock membership. Pretty much. Do you know
it's a great way to network.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then in addition to that, we have just amazing outdoor facilities. So we have Pequannock Plains Park, which has a tercentennial playground. It is one of the biggest public playgrounds in southeastern Connecticut. On average, especially if it's a nice day, there may be 1,000 to 1,500 people that walk the track. So 4 loops around is 1 mile. Then we have the playground itself. All of our facilities, in addition to all of our programming, are what we call inclusive. So that means anybody, whether you have a physical disability, an emotional disability, intellectual disability, we don't look at it as disabilities, we look at it as opportunities to connect you with the people that you want to meet with, because that's really what we're talking about, right? Is how do people connect? So we have a lot of play groups, especially for families that are, say, on the spectrum or that have different needs. The playground itself has been designed as an inclusive playground. So there's a lot of meetups that happen where it's like mommy and me groups, or say autism friendly or spatially awareness friendly support groups that will go and bring their kids for a fun activity where it's like-minded people that are there to have fun and be safe. We also have over 17 miles of maintained trails in the greater Groton area itself. So whether it's the Kopp Family Park, which we also have a world-class dog park at, I may bring my dog there often. Completely fenced in, sections for big dogs and sections for little dogs.
Oh, awesome.
It's also a great way to, again, meet more people, especially within the Navy crowd. We are very lucky here in Groton to be the home of the United States Submarine Base New London. And both on base, limitedly to some, not the dorms, but to some of the other on base housing, but then also for secondary Navy housing, you can have pets. And a great way to be able to meet other people in kind of the Navy or just kind of in the greater community is by going to the dog park. So there's a number of people that I'll see. I'll kind of go into Aldi's on the weekends to go grocery shopping, and I don't recognize them, but I know their dog's name. Working on it. But then we also have, we're very lucky to have Bluff Point State Park here. So that is a little bit different because it's not a town maintained park. It is in fact a state park. But there's a 4-mile loop that you can do through the woods. So it's a big meetup place for runners, for mountain bikers, for equestrians. Is that the word for people? Yep, for equestrians. In addition to, even though we haven't had much snow this winter, the
snowshoeing?
Yes. Cross country skiing.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
Well, so that's literally, I go around town and I say, hey, what are you interested in? Here's a whole bunch of stuff. And then inevitably somebody goes, oh, I didn't know that. Or, oh, I've been here for 40 years and I had no idea. So I moved down here about 13 years ago from Boston. I fell in love with the Village of Knowing, and I've had the privilege to live there on and off over the past however many years. And it's one of those things where I recognized that I wanted a community. I was coming from graduate school, loved Cambridge. I was like, this is awesome. Came down here and I was like, oh my gosh, it kind of reminds me of Cabot Cove, Maine. Did you ever see Murder, She Wrote with Andrew Lincoln?
Yes.
Okay, I was like, oh my gosh, this is totally Cabot Cove. Like, who's going to get murdered? Thankfully, no one has. Because we have a wonderful police department here in the town of Groton. 2 police departments. Yes. Right? So that's actually a really interesting point. Groton itself is a very big area. And because we do have some major heavy hitters as far as employers go, specifically Electric Boat, and then we have Pfizer also, we've essentially split up, so I speak for the United Groton here, we've essentially split up Groton into the town of Groton and the city of Groton. And within those 2 Grotons, we'll say the town and the city, we have 2 recreation departments, 2 police departments. But then all of the students go to the same Groton public school system. It's all the same public works. We have Groton Utilities, which is part of the city, but we're very lucky as town of Groton residents too, which we'll get into when we talk about the neighborhoods. We all kind of work together to really try to make Groton as best as we can for the people who live, work, and play here, because they don't tend to be mutually exclusive. Then we are also very lucky for anybody who loves the outdoor strolling, especially within the food tourism kind of world. We have Mystic.
Oh, I know.
Which is amazing. So it really kind of depends on what people are looking to do when they're coming here, especially for younger families that are looking to purchase homes because of Pfizer, because of EV or the hospital systems. We really work a lot with those families. We then also, so I work for the Recreation Division specifically, but that also includes Shenecasset and the Groton Senior Center and the Parks Division. The cool thing is that with the Groton Senior Center, they have just as much programming as we offer to kind of the adults down to the children, including day trips, including meals. There's social service opportunities that are available there. So it really is kind of like Groton said, hey, we're going to wrap our arms around everybody and we want you to come here. It's a very inclusive environment. So with all of our programming being inclusive to individuals with special needs, our senior center programming be inclusive to families also. We have a lot of participants, especially within the senior center world, about 30%, who come from surrounding towns to use Groton facilities, which is great because while there are a lot of amazing surrounding facilities in local towns, they may not have the programming or the level of programming that we have. But we all really do our best to work together because as a region, we want to be happy, we want to be healthy, and we want to be connected, right?
Right.
The other cool thing is we do a lot with the Groton public school systems, and we are very fortunate that not only do we have new builds currently going on.
It's Grosso Tech, right?
Yeah, Grosso Tech just got redone, and if you haven't been there, we should definitely go because it is
I heard it's
world
beautiful.
class. The new middle school that they're building, they're talking about the new elementary school, there have been updates to Fitch High School. We're also looking at expanding our athletic fields because we have so many programs that are outside of the parks and recreation world that go into, so a lot of our programs, especially for say baseball or soccer or lacrosse, they're feeder programs into the travel programs, like the more competitive teams. Right. And we work a lot with both at the high schools, with El Grasso and with Fitch, and these competitive sports teams. So the kids that start with us as like the T-ball tiny tots, then grow up to go into the Little League, then grow up to go into the junior high and high school. And then if they're interested and are that good, they have the opportunities to participate in the Mystic Schooners Baseball League, which is at the Cape Cod level. So we get Groton baseball players recruited into the major leagues, and it's this is their 10th year doing it, and it's one of those things that we're working to kind of celebrate that a little bit more in the community because that's also kind of one of the hidden gems. So I think that would be my sales pitch for why Groton, because we're a hidden gem. We're also
I think that's very true.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're halfway between New York, halfway between Boston. We have the shoreline, southeastern Connecticut.
You're within an hour of Providence,
Hartford,
and New Haven. You have so many cities at your fingertips, but yet it's still a very suburban, rural community, which is really nice. So do a lot of towns have your type of position in the towns?
No.
Nope. So I think it's pretty rare that Groton's dedicating this level of attention to maximizing, or I don't know what the right verbiage would be, but just to bring people together within the town. I think they want people to be happy that are living here.
Yes. They want people to be happy.
It's not that common.
And connected and healthy. And it's not. So when I was offered this position, I was the first one in the state of Connecticut. There's since rolled it out to several other municipalities. And it's great because there's obviously the need for it. People are saying, hey, when I move somewhere, like I'm moving my family, I want to make friends, I want to be part of something, I want a community. And Groton was very, very proactive in saying, we want to help with that. We want to identify how do we make that happen and not just say that we're going to make that happen. And that's one of the other things that I'm really proud to be an employee of the town of Groton is we've also rolled out a diversity, equity, and inclusion program, which I'm the chair member of, and it's been a fantastic experience in my life so far. But one of the big things is again, from the residents all the way up to the town council and the business owners, Groton has identified that a priority is we want to celebrate our diversity because we're
a wonderfully diverse community.
Yeah, especially having the military. Like we have a world-class Navy base right here. Right across the river, we have the Coast Guard Academy, which is one of the most prestigious secondary schools that you can get into if you're going for military. It's an amazing opportunity, and the leadership of Groton really had the foresight to think, all right, how are we going to connect all of these dots? And when they hired me on, the very first, you get your job description and it's like all of like the things you're supposed to be able to do with that one caveat of, and anything in addition. Right. All encompassing. So my very first line of my job description was identify underserved populations in the community and then figure out through community partnerships how we can make strategic steps forward to accomplish programming and resources to meet those needs. If that isn't the coolest job description you've ever heard, I really don't know what is.
It's just so rare. And I was just watching a video this morning that my husband sent me about just young people in general in the United States, in Europe, the level of unhappiness is the highest it's ever been, and it kind of astounds me with all the you know, I think the privilege a lot of you know, a lot of kids have had, that they're still unhappy, and it really came down to them being lonely and not connecting. And what you guys are really doing is finding ways for them to connect.
We're trying.
And I think that's amazing. I really do. I think that not a lot of communities wrap their arms around everybody.
I think the big thing is we know who we want to be, and how we're choosing to go about that is this. It's face to face. It's let's get people together and realize that, hey, we're all pretty much the same. We may have different views, but let's be respectful of each other, and let's work to make this a happier, healthier place. And I just, between the parks and the fields and the trails and the golf course, and
it's like, a lot.
We're really working to do that.
Beach.
I know, which is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's cool. I go down there just to eat lunch and watch the water.
Thank you.
Because
the
water is
stand?
It's my peace.
Yeah.
It's where I go to decompress. But I can't wait to hear about all your different neighborhoods, and this is gonna be a fun series because there's so much to go over. But thank you very, very much for
absolutely
coming in today.
Thank
all
you.
right, thanks. Bye bye.